So welcome everyone. Happy International Nurses Day. The theme this year is actually caring for nurses, but we've flipped the script and we've called it caring for carers, because that is Heart Place Hospital, is caring for carers. And the other part of the theme is strengthening healthcare and economies, which when I saw that theme, I thought I've got to do something. And I knew that I wasn't going to be giving out pens or expired supermarket chocolates on International Nurses Day. I was going to bring us together and just invite you into our world, into this movement, and to share a little bit more about where we're up to. Also got some beautiful medical mavericks, is what I call us, to share their journey as well that they've experienced at Heart Place Hospital. Those who are watching on record, you're welcome. You're just as welcome. Your energy is just as potent as if you're here live. I've got my Heart Place Hospital t-shirt on, Heart Place Hospital sign, and I'm really looking forward to sharing with you where we're at right now. So I'm just going to share my page, and we're just going to, this is a short video, and I'll as people come in, I'll include them into it as well, and then we'll go from there. So enjoy.
We have way too much burnout. We have way too much mental illness amongst caregivers, which is really still not talked about enough.
It was just my calling, like it was in my blood from when I was born to care for others at the detriment of ourselves sometimes. Like, let's be really real about it. Like, that's why Heart Place Hospital has been established.
I think the Western medical model right now is not sustainable.
I looked at all my consultants and I really didn't see anyone whose lifestyle I wanted. It was quite an unhealthy system.
Everyone that works with other people, it's like the most important thing to come back to is you need to fill your cup first, because it feels so easy to give to other people, but you can play that game only so long till you start to really burn out and lose the connection to yourself, or lose yourself in the process of that.
And as Gabor Mate would say, I mean, he's a man who's really one of the world forefront leaders in trauma. He would say most healthcare professionals come into this profession because we are already traumatized beings trying to prevent trauma in others.
I don't actually have a lot of hope that the education system is going to change as a massive organisation soon, but it's going to need to. Our young teachers who have the energy and the vibrancy are leaving in droves. Our older educators are retiring. Already we are seeing primary and secondary schools going down to 4 days a week, or sending students home because there's just no teachers to be able to teach them.
You know, our hospices are struggling. The whole model of our care of the sick and dying is not really right. It's too medicalised, and we need to go back to that really basic, important structure of caring for our people.
Heart Place Hospital is amazing, and you're amazing, Jackie. It's to then be able to have tools that work. And so I think to be able to reflect on what's working for me, what's not, like at the moment, that conventional model when we're stressed and burnt out, for a lot of people it's not working.
You know, a lot of the stuff that you've done that Heart Place Hospital does is not just interesting to me for my own personal growth, but it's something that shows me what I could do if I wanted to become the teacher and lead someone on a journey that's similar.
We have a mental health crisis, especially in the Western worlds. It's because we've been so disconnected from our inner nature. And I think returning to that is the key, is really the answer. Returning to that sensitivity, returning to that center, returning to our hearts. You know, Heart Place Hospital, right? There's a reason for everything. And if we don't live from our hearts, that's what will be killed off. That's what will die off, because it is not sustainable with life.
When I look to someone like yourself, I think one day how amazing would it be to have something similar here in Australia for our healthcare workers?
I think that healthcare, it's a relationship. It needs to be balanced. It needs to be equal. You know, the word hospital comes from the same etymology as hospitality and hospice, which carries with it that energy of the kindness of strangers, you know, guest and host. It's a reciprocal relationship, and often in healthcare, it doesn't feel like that. There's a hierarchy and there's a power imbalance.
It is about creating a healing health system for sure,
We know from the literature that even just experiencing an episode of burnout can take up to 3 years to heal from. That's if we're actively healing. How many of us are emotionally constipated and all of the other things, right? And we're not in a space where we actually have the safety to heal. That's what I love about what you do. Like, I absolutely think it's a genius model, and I can't wait to come visit.
Just had literally goosebumps from head to toe, because I feel that there could not have been a better steward of this mission than you, and deeply grateful for you.
I have incredible admiration and respect for nurses and, you know, the people on the front line who are caring for people when they're at their most vulnerable.
He said, well, what's Jackie all about? And I said, well, she heals the healers, because the healers are the ones that need that support, who are so busy giving to everybody else that they need to have something in them.
And I think the beautiful place about what you're doing is you're allowing it to be easily accessible. The people on the front line who are right here, right now.
Just sitting on gratitude for the work that you do in sharing these incredible modalities with the world. So, thank you.
Thank you so much, Jackie, for the way you show up in the world, for the difference that you make, and for everybody watching. Keep thriving, because you make a difference.
Jackie, thank you very much. You know, when I came back from Peru, I sort of had another percentage of my healing to do. I wasn't able to enter the workplace when I first came back. I love the energy that Heart Place Hospital provides, and I was very generously loved by you and what you could offer me. That allowed me to come back into the workplace and is letting me sustain myself in such a place I've never been able to do before.
It's not just some like beautiful experience. We want more than that. It's like a win-win-win. This next level of development, there's no more competition, we're collaborating. And it's like, how can I bring her into more of her authenticity, because she has an influence on all these people around her. And I want that ripple down effect, because it's impossible for me to reach everyone.
That's just a little introduction to Heart Place Hospital. Most of you who are on, but those who will be watching on record, this will be quite new to you. So I am kind of going to go back to the beginning a little bit. I just got invited to Wellington to present to the Ministry of Primary Industries. So I just want to share with you what I shared with them. So a little bit about Heart Place Hospital. So I'm Jackie O'Connor, founder, CEO of Heart Place Hospital, and it came out of my own lived experience when 9 years ago I wanted to seek support. And for those who are in caring roles, you know it's very difficult to ask for help when you are the help. So I very bravely asked for help, and when I received it, I was bitterly disappointed. And me being me, I thought, well, this is the only person that can do something about this is actually me. So I didn't realize this is what I was actually creating. I started doing workshops in my lounge room, inviting midwives and nurses and doctors, teachers, parents into my lounge room and sharing with them what I was learning through my own healing journey. So from that, Heart Place Hospital is a New Zealand registered charity, and it's very community led. So as things happen in the world, we then create a program, a workshop, a satellite clinic. We work on and you can rely on our discernment for finding the people and the expertise in these areas. So, for example, in the last wee while, I've been doing a lot of work around grief. There's been a lot of grief being experienced in the world, so we've got programs in the grief area, and we're also working with multiple service providers in this area. We're really reimagining how we care and deeply creatively in ways that we can support the whole person. So in the presentational pitch that I had last week, they're like really curious why using integrative health and not holistic health, because we're actually looking at everything. We're including the conventional medicine as well as the rest, the natural medicine, alternative medicine, holistic medicine, whatever you want to call it. So very much about integrative, comprehensive health. We walk alongside those in the front line and those who've really fallen through the cracks. And the reason we do that is because of the ripple effect that creates. So when we care for one carer and then they go out in front of their family or in front of the people that they're serving, then the ripple effect is so much faster than us just open door to anybody, which we do. We open door to everybody, but we really do focus on those frontline workers. Our model is built on connection, culture, and compassion, blending ancient wisdom, clinical experience, and soul-level support. So we have over 40 service providers, and I just want to share a couple of them. One is Zoe Jacques. She's a conventionally trained pharmacist, but she's also a naturopath and herbalist. So she's got that whole person perspective. We've got Dee and Christine, who will be watching this at some point, and they're both midwives, and they're also havening practitioners. Just like me, they fell into havening thinking that they could support the woman that they were serving, and then they realised that they could support not only the woman, but their partners, their families, themselves, and their colleagues. So we hugely refer to Dee and Christine. We've got Jenny on the call today. She's one of our service providers, and we've got a workshop with her this Saturday. So Jenny and Tanya are pre-cure coaches and EFT practitioners, and way more than that. And so we can collaborate with them and amplify them, and also help people understand what these terms are, what actually happens when we access these services. We're seeing strong recovery outcomes, really strong recovery outcomes. And I just want to share a couple. One is Robin, a school teacher. She'd been a school teacher for 40 years on ACC. And she came through, and we created a healing roundtable for her with our service providers. And she has come off, with the support of her medical team, she's come off hypertensive medication. Her surgery, her shoulder surgery, which is why she was on ACC, has been cancelled, because through the support that we've offered her, she's got pain management now and actually getting back movement, and looking to get back into education. But she's got a whole nother perspective, a whole nother lens on it now. Another one is a nurse specialist who is actually going to leave nursing. She's been a nurse for 40 years. She was absolutely going to leave. We created a healing roundtable with our service providers, and not only did she heal and feel well, but she could see how she could then take this back into her practice and provide that with the people that she's serving. So we've got heaps of anecdotes like that, and I'm going to get Sarah to share some of her experience with Heart Place Hospital soon. But more importantly, we're holding space for the current system that cannot hold space for the grief, the fatigue, and the deep longing for meaning. So each visitor, we call them visitors, not patients or clients, bringing back the etymology of hospital, so welcoming in of visitors. So each visitor, they're looking for meaning when they come through to Heart Place Hospital. So we're not just offering services, we're inviting partnership. We've all got lived experience of working in the systems, whether it's education, health, or we've had experience of moving through them. No one's immune to moving through these institutions. And we're now standing in our power and saying they're just not enough. It's not enough for us. So we're creating partners, and when we create these healing roundtables, we meet each other in partnership agreement. So we meet with our expertise and others' expertise, and we work in partnership agreement. So together we can co-create a regenerative future of care rooted in wholeness and designed for every generation to thrive. Just that massive ripple effect. So this is the problem that I took to Minister of Primary Industries, that our health system is clinically driven and people want more. So we're burnt out, moral injury, compassionate fatigue, and the current system overlooks our emotional, spiritual, and relational well-being. So the solution, Heart Place Hospital, a charity offering integrative, whole-person care that nurtures the mind, body, and soul outside of the clinical walls, rooted in compassion, community, and connection. We talked about who our visitors were, so our primary focus is on frontline workers, but they can be traditional, non-traditional, they can be paid or unpaid. but also looking at that invisible care circle that's right around them. Our secondary focus is people navigating these massive transitions in the world. So very heart-centred, values-led individuals seeking sustainable wellbeing and community. So our already 40 plus service providers, they most of them have come through as visitors and then moved into a service provider role, but they will always stay as visitors. So I want to share a story where one of our midwives, a service provider, she was seeking support, so we were able to refer her to one of our other service providers. And within one session, because she knows that we've done all the discernment work, she knows that our service providers are whole health support. So with Heart Place Hospital, people discover us through word of mouth, social media, podcasts like you all have, and then through our service providers, so referrals through our service providers. A benefit for our service providers to refer us is that we do have some funding. We are Southern Cross funded, we are EAP funded, and then of course we do fundraising events. We have services and products that we sell and able to fundraise. And then because we're a registered charity, we can apply for grants and get funding as well. We meet everybody with where they're at and meet them with their needs. So whether it's a retreat, a workshop, something one-on-one, something more community, online, if someone wants to meet with it, connect with someone that they actually really resonate with, then we're open to including those service providers as well. And then it's ongoing support. Once you join the whānau of Heart Place Hospital, you're always there and can always revisit and gain support. So there's none of this 3 sessions a year, next person in line. So we have a lot of future focus as well that we were sharing with the Ministry of Primary Industries. Like I talked about before, our charity funding streams are grants, philanthropy, community and corporate donations, fundraising products. Our latest one, which I'm just rolling out, is a body brush, Heart Place Hospital body brush. Last year we had the green aventurine crystals. We do fee for service, and we're looking to launch online membership. So a little bit like rather than insurance, it'll be assurance. So the membership will be that you can pay like you do to a gym membership. The difference is if you don't, you can save up your points. If you don't use it, then you can share it with somebody else. Still not yet government funded, working on it. So these are some of the questions that we were asking Ministry of Primary Industries. How do we grow without losing our soul? How we need help to secure stable long-term operational funding. We want to collaborate, and we need support so that we can actually track this emotional, spiritual, relational healing outcomes, so that we can then go to government with and seek support. I just really want to reiterate how we can reach people. So we had an event last week and a nurse came along and she's like, oh my God, I've totally been looking, this is exactly what I've been looking for. How come I haven't heard about you? So this is why I felt it really important to create just a small little gathering on International Nurses Day so that we can start widening that awareness. We are a fully registered charity, so we've got Dame Susan Devoy as our ambassador, myself as founder CEO, Sarah, who's on the call, is our secretary, AJ treasurer, Dr. Kamai Peri is our trustee, Rob Mokaraka, he's an actor and very much in the advocacy of suicide prevention as a trustee, and Mike Lightfoot, who's a very seasoned trustee and works on multiple boards. So that's Heart Place Hospital in a speed dating version. Let me just stop sharing and we can come back. Is there any questions so far? I know that's a lot of information. No, you're all good? Yay. You're all pretty familiar. You're all pretty familiar. So I've just inviting Sarah to come on if now's a good time for you, Sarah. So introducing Sarah has been a registered nurse for multiple decades, and like many people, have woken up to the system not being morally connected to her path, and has very bravely stepped off and is forging a new way, including accepting a leadership program on Heart Place Hospital. So welcome, Sarah.
Thank you. Thanks, Jackie. Hey, Nat's just having a little bit of trouble getting online. She was wanting a link, and so if you can help her out with that, that'd be amazing.
You're chatting. Yeah,
perfect. Oh, thank you. It feels really yummy to be here. It's weird when I reflect back, because I've kind of almost let go of my definition of being a nurse and how much of my life was identified as a nurse. That's not to say that, that once a nurse, always a nurse thing is there, like it's in our blood. And I guess, to be really succinct, I was terminated as part of the mandates, and that was like the third Mack truck moment in a space of about 12-ish months. So my marriage ended in September 2020. It became abundantly clear that I was the purple unicorn sheep of the family, and by the end of 2021, my 21-year nursing career was done, because fundamentally every fibre in my being went, this is not okay. And it's fair to say that that honestly, whilst in the thick of all of that, there was so much emotion in my body moving through, not in a fully empowered way, that I can now sit back reflecting on the connections I've made, the choices that I've made, the investment that I've put into myself in terms of unpacking some of the shadowy parts of us that lead us often into these professions where we are overgiving from these belief systems that are, either born into or created in those really early years. And when we start to unpack and discover those parts of us, it really helps us to kind of take some radical self-responsibility for how we show up in the world. And this is coming from I'm not enough belief, so fully invested into my nursing career to prove that I'm enough, and it needed to be perfect, and I had to have it all together, and all of the things. And we joke about being ducks, right? We're really calm on the surface, but we're paddling like shit underneath, and it's that shit that we're paddling through underneath ultimately has been what I've grown through, and now can actually embody the calmness exteriorly on the exterior, as well as really deeply feel it on the inside now. And I can't discount that Jackie reached out to me in a time when I would have never imagined I would be doing what I was doing, but fundamentally it was born out of being mandated that a seed got sown, which left me with my jaw on the floor, grateful that I was sitting in bed when the message was received from another beautiful friend and guide that went, MP for Democracy NZ, and I went, what the? Because it was one of those moments where I was like, hell no, like I'm just a nurse, like I'm just me. It's all of the things that go, no, God, no. But actually what the last 5 years, and probably more intensely in the last 3, has been a really wild adventure of getting out of my own way and going, actually, why the hell not me? And born through some stillness, which is ultimately what being terminated created for me, was no longer having to have such incredible structure as at that point in time, single mama, rostered shifts, although, you know, I had set days where I was working, but I would always pick up the extra shifts to bring in the extra money to support my kids and my dreams and all of that sort of stuff, but really didn't have clarity on what my dreams even were. But that's okay. We, you know, learn, evolve and grow. And Jackie reached out to me going, thank you, or words to that effect. I can't remember. It's such a blur. Did not have a chance in the 60-hour weeks that I was kind of doing in a really intense period of time, where I was inviting people to a new way forward and to invite them on a, just because it's always been this way, it doesn't have to continue this way. And my beautiful kind of phrase that came to me when I was sitting on a deck in a country farm south of Auckland was no longer clinically nursing, but now with an opportunity to nurse the country back, one compassionate member of parliament at a time. And it still gives me full body goosebumps when I say it, because it is ultimately what I did. I connected with as many people as possible on the ground that I could at all of the different events. And I reflect back on that and go, do you know what? They say that one person can't make a difference, but actually, and if we all believed that and one person can't make a difference, nothing would happen. Jackie wouldn't be doing what she's doing. I wouldn't have written a book. I wouldn't have, you know, gone and done all of these things and made some incredible connections through political meetings. I stood up and I shared 2 poems that I had channeled that highlighted the moral and ethical pandemic that we've essentially living through and have lived through, and inviting people to recognize that we can do it differently, and having people come up to me and say, thank you. Thank you for reminding us that it's about people. Because I, you know, threw in a couple of Martin Luther King lines of, you know, we need people in love with people, not power. And that's the kind of Tall Poppies Rising revolution that I activated just over a month ago, I think, Jackie. It was like the 5th of April. I published my first book, Tall Poppies Rising, The Truth from Tumultuous to Transformational. And it really is a heart and soul piece with poetry that I've channeled over the last 3 or 4 years, and a little tincture of truth nestled alongside, which is a little unpicking and an unpacking and an expansion of the message within the poem that is inviting people home to themselves and to tune inwards for the answers that we all hold in our remembering and in our innate knowing, rather than seeking outside of ourselves for a band-aid, often toxic kind of unsustainable solution. And I couldn't be more grateful, because when I finally did get a chance to reach out to Jackie, she's like, let's catch up. And we decided, I went and met her, and I think we decided we could have talked for like a week about so many pieces. And I'm going to actually read the acknowledgement to Jackie that I wrote in my book. Got your tissues, Jack?
Yep.
Because I think it really highlights the gift that is Heart Place Hospital and the gift that Jackie is bringing out to the world. So Jackie O'Connor is a reimagined nurse, a cycle starter, a change maker, friend and founder of Heart Place Hospital. Jackie, thank you for your bold and beautiful vision. Thank you for creating the space you needed and the space we all need, as we choose to walk the path of empowering others to step into their truest and most authentic selves. In a world where creativity, authenticity, and true human connection have so often been stifled in favour of ticking boxes and following rigid systems, you've built a sanctuary. A sanctuary that holds and supports the frontline carers in education and health, and others, the ones who give so much of themselves to others, often at the cost of their own well-being. I'm deeply grateful for your unwavering support, your wisdom sharing, your soft landings, and your pom-pom shaking when things have been crunchy and messy. You've helped me see the magic that's not just blooming forward, but is needed and ready to be received. Here's to maverick medicine making the bold, necessary shifts towards a more sustainable, human-centered health system. Thank you for never giving up on your dream and for showing me what's possible. And I don't know, Jackie, shall I share soul transformation just to kind of really sum up the piece of like why I landed where I am? So being mandated and having a whole wild amount of time created so much space that I was finally able to hear the whispers that had been like knocking on the door for a while, to the point where I was gifted an opportunity to consider writing some pieces for a woman, Mary Hobbs, who's also actually a nurse, and she left after 8 years. And I've sent her the link, Jackie, so she can receive the recording. She wanted to write a letter that spoke to the nurse's soul, and she saw an interview that I did and reached out and asked if I would like to contribute some words. And I didn't do anything with it because I really didn't know what to do with it. I didn't even know what it looked like. But one night, actually, Nat and Kaitiaki were staying at our house, and Nat and I had just finished doing some of our own admin stuff. And I was she'd gone to bed. It was like 11 o'clock at night, and I was just shutting my laptop down, and these words started coming in, and I was like, what is this? And I kind of tried to ignore it and carried on shutting my laptop down, and then I just got a few more words. And soul transformation is what came through, which is actually just hanging here. Oh, where am I going? There, up there, the big canvas scroll, because I got asked to put it in an art exhibition. Another holy, like, what the hell? I'm a nurse. Like, I'm not an artist. Like, what is this? But actually we are. We're all artists when we're nursing, because we are creating all sorts of solutions. So yeah, it went down to Christchurch, and so did I, and that was wild. So, soul transformation. How did we get here? I ask from my soul. I'm hard pressed to find one who did it for pay. So I'll ask you again. How did we get here, my friend? Because there's many a time it's near sent us around the bend. For me, I am certain I answered a call from so deep. My 7-year-old self knew this career was meant for me. To care and to heal, to soothe and to feel, to guide and support from critical thought. What's going on when something doesn't seem right? What's going on here when something doesn't seem right? We search for the answers, and we'll put up a fight for the patients, for the families, for the children, and all who are vulnerable. It's just what we do. So how did we get here? I ask from my soul. Have we really and truly lost sight of our role? The world is in chaos. Humanity is hurting. Big Pharma has captured the essence of health and left us with sickness in favour of wealth. Are we really going to sit back and watch from afar as the ambulance is crushed at the base of a cliff from a myriad of symptoms not addressed at the core? Does the thought of the system not leave you feeling quite sore? So I'll ask you again. How did we get here, my friends? Because I know for certain my heart and my soul say this is not how it ends. The strength lies within us to claim back what's ours. Our health forms part of our abundant wealth, and for some it's been taken through coercion and fear, while others, unwilling to see or to hear, have swallowed the pills, just like hook, line, and sinker. The reality of which gives me nothing but chills. The corruption, the greed, the lies and deceit, the programming roots run incredibly deep. All can be seen clearly when open and willing to carry the load, while knowing its weight may confront you quite dearly. But trust it we must as we embark on this test of life's many lessons. This one, quite frankly, could be one of the very best. So where to from here, I ask from my soul. How do we move on, grow through, and ascend out of this hole? For now is the hour. We all have the power. Stop feeding your ego and set yourselves free. Refocus your lens on the change you wish to see. It's time to step firmly outside of the box, claim your strength from within, and hold tight onto love. With eternal support from all that's above, the world's transformation is now in full swing. I wrote that in September 2022. I see you. I love you. I see you all. And it's, yeah, there's a little tincture that unpacks that a little bit further, but kind of blew me away. And I actually had to tell the universe, my guides, whoever was just dropping that in, to slow down because it was coming so fast I couldn't actually type fast enough. And I had a little bit of a laugh about that. But yeah, it's really just the support of Heart Place Hospital and Jackie and my courage to kind of stand in my truth, and really ultimately it was the release that freed my true voice, which is my business, Frank in Essence, which is the truth in essence, because frankincense is the oil of truth. And I'm a deep tissue massage practitioner and a Tall Poppies Rising revolutionary leader. And I am inviting everyone on the ride because it's going to be amazing. Let's go.
You sure are all those things. You sure are. And I love that. The Tall Poppy in me is like, I need to brag too. I've written a book too. Letters to a Future Nurse. So I've co-authored that with 22 international nurses with the fabulous stories and just information that we were never shared through our preceptors, through our training, through our learning. Even that was called training. It's just, just makes you think now. Yeah. I'm hoping this is okay because we're doing a bit off the cuff, but I've also invited Nat, who is got a great story. She's actually living the story right now. But just another example of a medical maverick who has this expertise, has this absolute desire to serve and care, and no longer wants to burn herself out keeping other people warm. So if you feel comfortable, if you're in a position to do this, Nat, then we're wrapping you up, and we're going to continue wrapping you up after now because we know you're on a big journey, and but big beings have big stories, right?
Thanks, Jackie. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Amazing. Kia ora, everyone. I'm Natalie McGavick, a registered nurse and currently a patient in hospital. I've found solitude in the whānau room at the hospital I'm in right now. And in all honesty, I'm a bit like, what do I even share? But I literally messaged Jackie this morning saying if it works, I would still love to come on and be of service to anyone here that wants to listen. And I guess, Jackie, do you want me to share a bit about my story, or what would you like me to share?
Whatever you feel comfortable with. I think you're just a tall poppy example of, still bringing out the desire of serving and caring, not necessarily in a way that's going to jeopardize, and you're finding the messages in the mess as well. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, I'll just trust whatever I share is what people may need to hear right now. So before anyone worries, I'm currently in hospital. I have endometriosis. I imagine as carers you may know something about that, but I'm kind of in and out of the hospital at the moment, getting support for it. And my story goes way back to when I did most of my nursing in Australia. Can you hear me okay? It looks frozen. Oh, good. The reception's not the best here. And in all honesty, ironically, despite working in mental health nursing, I myself found myself really, really burnt out, needing to cut down my hours, going and seeing a counsellor, and finding myself just feeling like the weight and the load of it all becoming a bit too much. And I think as carers, whether, I don't know if everyone on here is a nurse or whether you're a parent or whatever area of care that you're in, it can really take a lot for us, I think, to hold space for so many. And ironically, even though I worked in mental health, I still held quite a lot of shame and stigma around needing help and needing support and stepping away. But I did, and I ended up moving back to New Zealand and still found myself feeling like I needed to return back to nursing. I think there's a lot of ego death that can happen when you decide to choose a different path. I've even gone into casual cleaning because it's better for my mind and soul at times. And I know like family and other people might look at me and think, why on earth are you doing that? So I guess anyone on here that's wanting or listening to the recording that's wanting, like feeling the pull to step away for your own mental health, like, yes, it might take a bit of an ego death, but you'll be better off for it. I promise you. And yeah, so I stepped away from nursing and I actually decided to do online marketing, build a personal brand, do coaching, and empower people to share their message online and step into their power in a way that's different to giving back in the way of nursing, I guess is a good way to kind of sum it all up. And I think now, ironically, being here in the hospital and just seeing how hard not just the nurses, but everyone works, to the beautiful people that are bringing me my tea and coffee, feel like the queen sometimes, to the cleaners sweeping the floors, to the doctors, like the pain teams, the physios, everyone. I even saw a doctor the other day run out of the room to quickly talk to their kids. On a Saturday, there was probably school sports going on. And I guess my heart just goes out to people that want to give back, but know that it's coming at a real cost and they don't want to keep doing that. And so I guess my message to you is, if it's coming at a cost of your own mental, physical, spiritual health, like lean into that and know that it's okay to step away and to do something different, whether it be cleaning or just having a break or marketing or coaching or just simply being a mum or whatever it is that you need to do, or being a patient. I think there's a real gift in that, and being able to slow down and soften and have that ego death and step back and do whatever else that your soul, like Sarah's done with, writing. And Jackie, congrats, I didn't know you had done a book. Yeah, my wisdom to you is just to follow that nudge and let yourself slow down if that's what you need to do. Because I'll admit, I started speeding back up again, and then hello, God, universe, spirit, whoever you want to call it, I'm back in hospital, I'm back being the patient, I'm back like this is the most talking or sitting up or anything I've done. I have pajama pants on the bottom and a hot water bottle. Like, I'm being forced to slow down and soften. And that monkey mind started being like, oh, should I really get on this call? What do I have to offer? I'm in hospital right now, and who am I to blah blah blah. So I just want to say thank you, Jackie. This is what I love about Jackie and what she's created with Heart Place Hospital is my message back that I got from her when I said, like, does it work? I'm in a shared room, I'll try find somewhere quiet. You said something like, all of you is welcome. And I was just like, made me tear up, and I think that's what Heart Place Hospital is about. And anyone that feels drawn to this way of doing life, it's like, and I actually felt quite moved before jumping on. I'm getting a bit teary now, but yeah, like the constant rush of nursing, seeing all these beautiful people out here, and what it does to your nervous system, and like giving, and that's what I do a lot. And when I, as a mum and whatever else, and then just like sitting down and being like, I can make a difference in my pajama pants with a hot water bottle, hiding in a whānau room, even if I'm due to have my medication any minute now, and going to, go back to bed and rest. Like, it's quite hard for my nervous system. I see that resonates with a few of you. And I think us women especially are always so busy, and we're, human doings, not human beings. And for me to finally drop into that, thank you, Jackie, and have this opportunity to speak and share and trust that it'll land with whoever needs to hear it. And that's what I do in my work with coaching and mentoring and marketing as well. But I will notice I always then run back to traditional work because, that's what's expected, as opposed to, excuse me, really dropping in and letting this be my new season and allowing people permission for that to be theirs as well. So I think I'll leave it at that. Thank you. I didn't know what was going to come out, but
Oh no, that was beautiful. I knew it would be alchemic. So thank you. And that's why I refer to us as medical mavericks, is that maverick, that outside the box. And it's not so much anymore. The presentation on Friday, I talked. I've always been misunderstood, and so I started by saying, look, this is quite an enigma. And they called me up, all of them called me up and said, it's not an enigma, it's unique. And this is a new paradigm. This is the language that they were reflecting back to me. And in fact, one of them I said, oh, look, it's EAP on steroids, Employment Assistance Program on steroids. We're meeting people with their needs rather than the tick box. And she said, no, this is EAP on psychedelics. And I thought, wow, this is great. Then there was one male panelist, and he really I showed the video. He loved the video. He said, I was really struck by the video, but I'm not understanding your language. My language was visitors instead of patients and clients. My language was service providers instead of health professionals, because I truly believe that we have this innate wisdom when we heal our healer within ourselves that comes out. So our service providers have been vetoed by me. I've accessed all these services, so the discernment's taken care of. We don't have to scurry around and think who's good to go to. We've done the work for people. We're the umbrella that hold those who have that same frequency that we're looking for. And anyway, this one male panelist said, I don't understand your language. And another panelist with jest said, you're a stale pale male. Get with the program. This is how we can create sustainability. And I think, Nat, you've really nailed it on the head. We are human doing, but women aren't actually living to the cycle that we're designed to live. So we're infradian, we're very moon cyclical, whereas we've been so pathologized and medicalized to be cyclical. So that's that sun cycle, which men fit into beautifully. So it is going to take us to build the revolution, the tall poppy revolution that Sarah referred to, because we can't do it by ourselves. We're very powerful alone, but we're absolutely potent when we come together in community. So that's why I try and create these opportunities that we can connect together, that we can create a recording so that we can share it with our networks so that other people can find us. Like the nurse that I met last week, she said, Jackie, I'm up to my third burnout. And I was like, oh, I think I had one a year. So I think I had about 27. So, and when I shared space with her, she's, her partnership has just ended. She's still raising 2 young daughters. So we are people at the end of the day. When we're carers, we've still got other stuff going on. We've still got those transitions and transformations going on. And like Sarah said, I think it's beautiful what you shared, Sarah, is really starting to, and I think the true definition of success is having a nervous system that we can regulate as much as possible. And for people who have been in caring roles, we've just seen people go through transition after transition, but we haven't had created a space where we've done the duck shake or the dog shake and really shake that energy off us. So this is Heart Place Hospital is that soft sanctuary where we can land, and I referred to it at the beginning, Nat, when I asked for help. It was just so hard for me to ask for help because I was the help. Whereas Heart Place Hospital, we're making it really easy to ask for help. You can literally just trip in and we'll meet you where you're at. We'll meet you if it's self-care and the nervous system that needs supporting, and we will breadcrumb you through the next steps. If it's mindset work, if it's more energy work, then we will breadcrumb you through that. Create those healing roundtables, meet in partnership agreement. And really the ripple effect is phenomenal. We've seen it already. The impact is phenomenal. It's just a matter of time. These opportunities that I had last week, they're the opportunities that I'm taking every single millisecond of them, to really get the word out. So I want to just gather, and I want to just make sure that I'm not taking up huge amounts of your time, but we've just got a few minutes left if anyone's got any questions, or if anyone wants to share anything. Rachel, you, Jodie, Jenny and Teresa and Charlotte, you've all experienced Heart Place Hospital. So if there's anything you want to share or any questions, this is a great time. And we've got about 30 people who registered, so people will be watching this on record.
I'll add one thing if I may.
Yes.
I love that you've encapsulated that this is not just for nurses or carers, like, parents, caregivers, because one thing I've noticed, and I was just thinking of as you're speaking, Jackie, about being in hospital, I'm obviously watching the nurses and them working hard, but I'm finding it really hard to drop into like not being a mum right now because I'm here. I can't be a mum when I'm in hospital. Well, I can to a point. Do you know what I mean? Sorry, one second. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Ironically, a nurse came in, and like family being like, do you need anything? And I found myself being like, I'm okay. And then later realizing like I don't have shampoo or conditioner or something. And so what I'm trying to say is that it's not just the nurses or the doctors that need the help and the caring. And I love that Heart Place Hospital covers all of that. It's the mamas, it's the midwives, it's the non-medical people that also need that nurturing and support too, that you help as well. So thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Oh yeah, like it's I think we're all frontline workers essentially. We all touch people at some point in our day. So I guess where we focus on the traditional frontline workers is that people with understand that. But to put into perspective, I feel like in New Zealand we've got Gumboot Friday, so supports the youth's mental health. We've got Kids Can that feeds and clothes the kids, and now Heart Place Hospital wraps around all those who are actually influencing and caretaking those kids, our future generation. So I think we're really there's a void and we're filling it. Yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much, everybody. Happy International Nurses Day. Yeah. And thanks for coming along. Thanks for those who are watching on record, and please share far and wide, and let's there's no place like your heart place is how I'm going to end it.
Thanks, Jackie.